It is time for our final series of the night. My name's Ketchup, joined by ZSX. This is Week 2, Stage 4, Quake Pro League. It's nosfa up against DaHanG.
I think this is an opportunity for nosfa to lay a marker. He's somewhat disappointed over the last maybe 2 stages now. I think he seriously hyped end of stage 1. Exceptional player, but just has not progressed since then, whereas everyone else has. I don't think everyone else stepping up their game. Likewise for DaHanG. I think ever since forever, he's obviously been number 2 in NA, and I feel that people again are just catching up with him. So it's an interesting one for me. They're both players, likewise to, as we spoke about Razy earlier, Razy and Caller, need to lay down a marker. I'm a fan of nosfa, but he definitely needs to do more.
It's one of those tricky talking points because you don't. It almost doesn't feel like a huge negative towards nosfa, and more that it is about the growth of the Americas part of the world in Pro League.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's more a celebration that the players in that section of Pro League are just universally becoming so good, and it's not just well-established absolute top dogs and those that are able to beat them. It's very much a mixed bag. DaHanG is one of those players that's just been across all of Quake champions, just consistent level of excellence. He is not one of those players that you would doubt. I know he's been quite up and down recently. However, when we're talking about a player, their Quake Champions legacy, you name game mode, and DaHanG has been top level and 100%. Has won tournaments. So
yeah, DaHanG is like the only player in America at the moment on this day that can still beat Rafa. I think Shane is getting there. I don't think he's in his locker at the minute, but when DaHanG hits stride, he can take maps and series away from Rafa, and that still stands true. He's definitely less consistent than he used to be. His mechanical whistle isn't as crisp as it used to be. They want to see him reach that level of consistency and the heights we've seen from him in the past, where he's one of the best players of all time in terms of statistically. So he needs to get back to there. And then for nosfa, it's just, I think everyone holds such high regard for it. We just want to see him do more with that potential.
100%. We're going to go into the picks and bans so we can find out what the journey is going to be for our final series of the day. And as you can see here, Blood Covenant up first. Athena versus Galena with the slash removed. Sorlag removed with the Ranger versus the Ison. And then finally, Strog removed from play with the Visor and the Nyx coming on forward. So when we're looking at these picks, there's just a lot of meta picks coming out this week, right?
Yeah.
Like we're starting to see if a champion's really good on a map, you're probably going to see him on that.
We've much the same 5 or 6 champions throughout every series. The Galena, the Rangers, the Nyxes, the Visors, the sprinkling of Isons and Athenas dropped in there and a Doom hero there. So we can see how the pool of champions that we're preferring is definitely consolidating ever so slightly. And once again, nothing huge coming out of here. I think Galena is quite difficult to play well on Blood Covenant, but she's always got strong utility. Ranger and Ison, nothing unusual there on Vale. And finally, Ruins. Next versus Visor, pretty much, Quake Champions 1.0 picks right there going up against each other. Standard throughout.
Well, looks like we've just loaded into our first map, so we're in the current warm-up phase. I want everyone to thank you for tuning in today. Week number 2, we've got so many games left to go, but all things considered, I mean, DaHanG, you would always assume that DaHanG is the player that has the edge here. It would be nice to see nosfa really be able to kind of step up today, but just if we're going by previous results, if we're going by how players are currently shaping up, kind of hard to count out DaHanG. As we now go into Blood Covenant, we'll see if nosfa's able to step up that game.
I would expect that to hang 3-0 personally. Like I said, would like to see nosfa take a map or so.
But now as we check things out, we can see DaHanG's POV, so I'll check out nosfa my end just to see. But as we start things off, DaHanG is looking for those rail angles, and that's something that is always going to have in the masses. There's a rail angle on you. She's just able to get around so much quicker, especially in a matchup like this. We haven't really touched on Galena versus Athena. There's going to be a distinct difference of mobility.
Absolutely, and that's right. Galena struggles on this map anyway, with the verticality and the levels, and then when you match up against an Athena, you can see things like this happen where DaHanG is always going to be able to position faster than you. When someone is so cemented on the foundations and the fundamentals of Quake duel and timing and basing your movement off that, giving that particular player mobility makes them very, very treacherous.
But it looks like nosfa is not having a hard time maneuvering around just yet. You know, he's trying to keep himself nice and stacked. Playing DaHanG at too much angle. Nice slow, but almost immediately we can see the emphasis on those hourglasses. And it is going to be a battle of the hourglasses with these two champions because
DaHanG has been waiting for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't
we
think
normally celebrate the timing 100%, but it looks like you might be a little bit early on this one.
I don't think he realised that nosfa picked it up before he escaped.
Well, I mean, in his defense, when it was last taken by nosfa, DaHanG was nowhere to be seen, so I wonder if he just didn't think nosfa was there. Perhaps, I don't know.
It's very uncharacteristic from DaHanG.
But between these two champions, there is this element of neither side having the one large payoff giant cooldown ability. You know, they both have things they get available and can drop down, and they can lower those cooldowns. So the battle of the hourglasses becomes a little bit more prominent with these two.
Yeah, but at the same time, neither one will really benefit from getting them. So I wouldn't imagine either person go out of their way to get the hourglasses, as you would a Nyx or a Visor, for instance. But if they're there, they're very useful.
And nosfa's going straight back to being quite patient. Tries to get a quick bridge to rail jump, unfortunately. He's having a hard time. He doesn't want to give his position away. We've seen DaHanG obviously reach that point. Checking that from nosfa's point of view, he didn't want to give his position away, but he also really, really, really wants some rail ammo. So it was a bit of a hard choice when he missed it.
Oh, nice. Should be able to win himself this myself for it. DaHanG using those grapples perfectly to get in and out quickly.
He's already perfectly positioned himself towards light. It's not quite here though, which is a shame, but right, there was the heavy. Getting soaked up by nosfa. DaHanG is extremely comfortable, it seems, to just play this kind of run away game. Run away, run around. I said run away, that's what you
run away.
Oh, I can't today, apparently.
But nosfa has one self-control.
Sorry, continue. Don't let me distract you, mate.
That's all you ever do. Nice! How on earth that hit full?
Just one of those things. Here comes the range battle. DaHanG putting a lot of faith into heavy machine gun here, and it is working! nosfa drops down one of his totems. The only thing that kept him alive in that fight. But it has given him a wonderful amount of stack back.
Neither one of these is really connecting with anything at the moment. They're kind of just dodging each other around the map and quite happy to trade items here and there. Not overly committing.
Have to be careful about those missed shots.
Yeah, DaHanG's 20% rail, nosfa's got 30, so low accuracy game so far. 2% lightning gun from DaHanG.
And it really has been a game of low accuracy at the moment. These battles, I mean, the word you really use, a little bit sloppy, perhaps. Just both players not able to really hit their mark, and it's kind of meaning that this game of constantly running around and cycling these items, the fact that it's not really that contested just looks that strange. But now,
100%.
He backs up. Oh, the grappling hook. DaHanG.
Oh,
bad times to use the hook. The first hook did mark, and he tried again. And at that point, nosfa already had the angle up.
I mean, DaHanG forged an opportunity perfectly. Discussing how no one was hitting. DaHanG does string 2 rails back to back, and then grapples to his death, and he gets pinned up in the wall, and then grapples himself through a totem. Not the ideal situation. Thought nosfa was a lot lower than he was. Always forget how powerful those totems are as a top-up mechanism.
Especially when there hadn't been a frag for so long, I can imagine it being very hard to keep track that late on.
Yeah.
With a single life. But now DaHanG has done licking his wounds. No armor either. Scary for him. One single rail at this health puts you up to 8 HP. Like, he is going to start landing his shots. DaHanG has to be very careful in this fight, and now gets knocked away. Thank you very much, Grappling Coach, for the saving grace.
Quick corrections there from DaHanG as he,
Very
yes.
quick.
Oh, nice rail. He has to go down here.
Perfect play from nosfa. Had the angle already set up. He had that angle set up a year ago. Now from this position, DaHanG has to be quite careful because he's only got a rail and an energy. Not having a rocket in some of these fights can be really awkward, but especially now where DaHanG, he's looking for the rail first. He's just the difference in the stack that if nosfa does catch him up close, it's really not a fight DaHanG's able to win. Not when nosfa has both this stack already and then can drop a totem down. It's like,
yep.
Yeah, he's laughing, really.
Exactly. I mean, nosfa's not pressing the advantage. His stack at the moment, he's also playing out top just about on these rail duels, which means he then can follow up nicely. Obviously, it has been 2 mistakes from DaHanG that has caused this lead, so but nosfa's not going to complain. Not long left now, 3 minutes to go.
Now from this stage, DaHanG is... I do like the fact that DaHanG is not staying completely in the more predictable spots to try and make a comeback from. He is hitting these slightly strange angles to just try to ease in some rails here and there. But nosfa is playing so well. The tri-bolt makes getting the angles so hard for DaHanG. He misses another rail. He has hit a couple of rails back to back, but really accuracy has not been his best friend today.
No, and all things considered, DaHanG is creating good angles by his positioning. It's just not being able to execute at a point in time. That's nice, though. Should be to the heavy machine.
I forget that having to go in for that machine gun because he's run out of rails, it's like...
Oh no!
Nothing, the position of the totems, there's no way DaHanG was looking for that. Oh no, that one hurt, sure.
Well, I think top into the heavy machine was the wiser move anyway. It's the safer option for consistent damage. Guaranteed damage. nosfa has trapped DaHanG here.
Oh.
Taking a good 2-0 with only a minute and a half to go. This is unexpected.
That's, I mean, DaHanG, I'm going to go quickly, have a check again. Yeah, I mean, he's fired plenty of rails, and there has only been a 27%.
Oh, nice.
That's not heaps of it, but that's some damage. nosfa, thankfully, having his totems to retreat to. It is something that you don't often see from DaHanG. He has had these opportunities. He's had these openings, but
1 minute warning.
That accuracy hasn't been there to really put the exclamation point on that. And it's given nosfa some great openings that, you know, to give him his credit, he's absolutely done a great job of running away with. As we get these final moments, DaHanG, he's a few seconds away from having no more opportunities. That missed rail, how hard can he punish? DaHanG gets him down to 22 HP, but he needs a lot more than that, but can chase it safely. The airborne, that was... Even though he went down, that mid-air was tasty.
It was. Now this is a tense last 20 seconds as DaHanG has to keep the tempo up out this game. Can he find nosfa? I think he is where he is. He's gone the right way, but he's run the wrong way.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, he
I think
knows where he is.
Wasted time. That might be too much wasted time. He has 5 seconds. He has to kill him in 5 seconds. Kill him. Can he get him?
No!
Oh, they trade! No!
Oh my word.
Almost completely even in damage. 50 damage barely separated them.
Yeah, I think unfortunately 19% average accuracy from DaHanG is what cost him that game.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic of DaHanG. I know you wouldn't put DaHanG in the list of like greatest aimers on the planet, but there's normally at least a level of consistency there.
Absolutely, yeah.
It just wasn't on. It just wasn't in that map. That's all there was to it.
No, and that's the thing. Like, And at the end of the day, Quake is a first-person shooter. You take your shots, you can win your games.
It's the opponent, you must shoot them.
I know it's a bit of a cop-out in terms of analysis, but DaHanG was making the right moves on the defense. That nosfa was hitting his shots in, for the most part, and DaHanG wasn't. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, but it's the kind of loss that we know that DaHanG can be his own worst critic sometimes, and like there's 0% chance that like DaHanG isn't sitting there right now completely aware that that's a huge part of what went wrong and that it's something to fix. I know it's definitely it's like hey, start hitting my shots, it's obviously it's a hard thing to hit these shots in this level of play, but there's 100% sure of it. But as we now go into our next map, Vale of Death, Rain versus Ison to be the matchup. I think nosfa's going to be feeling quite relieved after that one. There's an opportunity to kind of reset things, refresh things. Here is great for him anyway, because we have been talking about, he needs to be able to step up to the plate a little bit more. And being able to punish those mistakes in the first map was, that was all him. The fact that he capitalized and played that strong defensive way game in the closing moments, and that he made it as close as it was. Like, he still had to put work in to make it that way,
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? That nosfa needed to play a safe ranged game against DaHanG, and that's what he did. Like, the reason DaHanG had virtually no lightning gun or rockets used is because he limited those opportunities. He wanted to play a rail game. He knows that's what he's strong at. He knows that's what DaHanG isn't particularly good at. So it was definitely a strategical choice from nosfa to suck DaHanG into that type of game, and DaHanG was happy to oblige and wasn't able to execute to overcome that.
Well, we're going to go from a large out in the open rail heavy map to one of the more opposite pairs as the Vale of Death begins. As we can check out DaHanG, there's an opportunity for redemption. First map, and one way to start things. Very combat heavy map here. You got to sometimes form the right weapon. You can fight. Looks like nosfa wants to fight,
but somehow the Brazilian gets the. Okay.
I'm shocked they didn't trade that.
I believe nosfa got a kill. It's insane. But c'est la vie. DaHanG has full control, picking up both major items, so it's not the end of the world for him.
Right now, defensive angles. Often a pretty tricky place to get caught in, but with DaHanG's health the way it is, he can't really afford to take one rail too many either. He has to show up respect.
Nice.
He had the rail angle already set to go. nosfa's angles have been great all series. Consistently now, he's had that whole way covered. DaHanG runs, capitalizes. DaHanG is not looking to just knock him off. He wants damage, and he wants.
Unfortunate that worked out. It was a complete misplay by meeting nosfa on the heavy armor.
Oh, looks like already DaHanG's accuracy is just a little bit sappier, a little bit more impressive. nosfa's going to fall again, and as Vale of Death often claim, many souls, lots of frags coming through. Looks like it's
no way! Not again!
Shotgun frag a second time.
Oh, so frustrating as DaHanG tries to take control of the map, and nosfa says no. It's my armor.
Now DaHanG at the very least been able to spawn near the mega, so he's been able to create. But now nosfa, how does he escape? The chase down. I really like that use of the orb. There was no way to be able to chase that down traditionally.
Oh,
and if we're talking if we're talking optimization, DaHanG has that down. But can nosfa capitalize? DaHanG with no armor. He doesn't even want to get the light here because he can't afford. DaHanG could not afford to spend the time getting that light armor because they were 2 seconds away from mega spawning. But that does mean the light armor is ready to take for nosfa. He might be able to use it to score a frag here. It depends on who's going to be able to dedicate to the hardest. Yeah, DaHanG has other options, thankfully. Soaks up a light all the same, but I mean, from nosfa's situation, he needs to get that opening damage first.
He's too late for the heavy.
Oh, that turret. Fair chunk of damage.
It really did. Not was completely prepared for that aggression from DaHanG.
good patience. Gets another impressive rail. Right as DaHanG chooses to jump down, but... Oh, the chase! Alright, DaHanG.
Oh,
Needs
nice!
At the very least, he lands a shot, but nosfa's rails, they have been absolutely disgusting throughout the course of this map.
Really have, and DaHanG trying to lock his opponent down, and just every single time nosfa's replying with back-to-back rails. Feels like he's got DaHanG's number! The time he does overcommit as DaHanG hits his rails. Adds to a few cheeky rails.
Ooh! Another impressive rail coming out from nosfa though. Right, kind of threading the needle with that one. So he's looking for a secondary angle. Oh! The teleport wasn't quite a telefrag orb. The orb still did the damage.
That's just one of the traits of nosfa that can be so successful or so limiting. Is just that over aggression, high risk, low reward play. It's unnecessary.
Danger with a lot of how much damage DaHanG is currently returning in these fights too. Consistently, nosfa is just outstacked, and when he chooses to be aggressive, very often can DaHanG punish him, not just for his own accuracy and the fact that he's getting good LG and stuff like that, but it's just the orbs. The orb just being that final nail in the coffin.
And after great play, it's felt like from nosfa, he's now 2 frags down. There's only 5 minutes gone, so it feels like a lot longer.
It's almost because they've just been so back and forth.
Oh no, he's caught.
DaHanG! Oh! Hello. Goodbye. Bad one for nosfa. He's only going to have shotgun here. He's barely even been able to take this rail. And even with that rail on hit, he can afford to tank another one, and he will do just that. That was a horrendous spawn.
Yeah, well manipulated by DaHanG, forcing it. Knew exactly what.
There's something about players who are able to force these spawns. They just have the aggression ready to rock. Crazy, just in-your-face strategies. Now, DaHanG has just been nice to charge for a lot of the rest of this map now. nosfa, he's got a decent stack. That might be it. The nails! Okay. The nails alone! He'd run out of rockets, so he had to change, but... Yeah, that's good. Good nail on there, DaHanG.
This map is creeping away from control for nosfa. That's 5 frags is a very different task.
Now DaHanG is able to play more reserved game too. He doesn't have to constantly be on the hunt. He can to back up a little. nosfa must have just been so convinced DaHanG was going to run towards Mega. He was already looking straight forward to immediately turn around. That one missed rail. Okay, here's a potential open. DaHanG. What's it going to be? Hard to spot. Information. Retreat. Redack. He started to immediately change how he's approaching this map. And he's prioritizing the hourglasses too. He wants to make sure he's got the dark orb ready to rock. He's doing give up the heavy as well, it looks like. Conceding all control now and changing to a much more defensive game. While playing a defensive game, it means that DaHanG can put himself in better defensive positions to get damage off teleporter, and it looks like he's going to get a little bit of that. Now he has to retreat again, but the question is, where is he going to be? How does nosfa chase him down? How long is it going to take to chase this guy down?
Yeah, nosfa is struggling to track his opponent down, and DaHanG is playing perfectly. Great use of the orb as well to even get away again. Time wasted.
Absolutely immaculate how DaHanG is a retreat-based game. Just listens out for nosfa. The second that rocket jump got used, though, he had to be a little bit more risky. There's the rail. And although nosfa is one making chase, he is certainly not healthy, not even close. DaHanG continuing the retreat. nosfa needs to catch him, and he has to catch him quickly. It has very, very quickly escaped him, has this map. And every second it takes for him to get one of the major items is a second that DaHanG will laugh with. He's run out of rockets, but that doesn't matter. At this point, it's just running the circuit. Running the circuit the rest of the map.
Yep, and looks very much out of reach now for nosfa. Much able to have much more what we would expect.
And at this point, you get a frag, but it's likely to be too little, too late at this stage. He's going to delay things for good measure, but the spawn is, as long as he's got some stamina, he's got a orb to reposition. If he gets a frag here, can he finish it? Yes, he can. If it wasn't completely guaranteed before, it certainly is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well played from DaHanG for this one. And a good awareness to realize exactly when he can start playing a runaway game. There's about 3.5 minutes left, and that was when he made the choice. And it took a good couple of minutes for nosfa to frag him once.
No. Great tool in case he needed to have a additional get out jail card, which he used a couple of occasions, but overall, nice awareness, patience, match placement.
Likely to trade. Just to add insult to injury right there, I think. Can't even get the final frag in that situation. DaHanG is going to take this one 10-5. Vale of Death is going to go in favor of him, but okay. Just like that, we're going into our final map. Oh, nosfa, 58%. I mean, that ain't bad at all.
No, I mean, again, it wasn't nosfa playing bad. It just felt that I had a much better grasp of that map. Game 1 on Blood Covenant, it's easier to play the distance game, and nosfa did very well, but Vale being much more intimate, we saw right off the bat DaHanG increasing the two, closing the gap. That's the game he wants to play against nosfa.
But off the back of the first map, which was, I mean, by all accounts, it was a bit of a through accuracy alone, and then nosfa continuing to play well. You know, it's just that the moment we had that locked-in change strategy for DaHanG, it's just hard for nosfa to chase him. Benefit of a dire orb on a map like this, where you can be so many different places. But ultimately, breathing room for DaHanG, an opportunity to reset that momentum and just sigh of relief, I think.
A little bit. I'm sure he massively disappointed on the first game. It felt like a warm-up game a little bit for DaHanG, but this was much more the DaHanG. Not entirely the DaHanG of old, but this is much more the style we expect coming out.
So as now players should be loading into the third and final map of the day. I think either way, this is going to be a interesting result, because if DaHanG's able to get the win, it's good for DaHanG to kind of just keep that image up, you know, that undisputed number 2 in the Americas. That's what DaHanG always trying to gun for. I know we've got players like Che that have been really kind of creeping up there, very, very, very much so. But not would just love to be able to take out someone like DaHanG. You know, so getting this map versus DaHanG would be a great morale boost. The fact that we're early in stage 4, this is one hell of an early opponent to take down in terms of a result, and you know, who knows what that can do for your mental state going into future weeks.
No, for sure. And game 1 was a good example. It has the capability. So again, it's all about consistency with a lot of these players that aren't in the top of the leaderboard. Is how they get that consistency there in their game, because they have all the ingredients to be beating the best of the best.
Well, we should be ending the phase of this warm-up now, as we can see here. Maybe matchup was Nyx versus Visor. That's quite a common matchup that we're just so familiar with at this stage. You know, the Nyx, she's got that sort of smaller hitbox. You know, it's a little bit harder to hit her, but thankfully for nosfa, he's got a pierced sight. Something that, depending on the different visors will play this match differently. Some will pop it immediately. Some visors will save it exclusively for when the walk is used. I mean, it really is a bit of a multi-purpose tool, is that piercing sight.
Yeah, it is a bit of a conundrum, because obviously it poses great utility outside of just using it to track down an invisible Nyx. It's a very valuable tool, but a rare commodity at that.
Now, as we can expect from Ruins of Sarnath, Rail 1v1 is already going to show
DaHanG is back.
In this case, DaHanG is going to get it. And he's been able to score a pretty comfortable first frag here, but it's not just about the frag, it's about what comes afterwards. The fact that he pushes down so early because he knows the Mega is up and there's no way nosfa's able to take it. Wins the fight, go and get the Mega, keep a huge delay. Even to the point where he's gone to get the armor first. Like, DaHanG has full control over the two of these.
Look at that awareness to go back and get a light as well before committing for the Mega. Not only delaying, but stealing away valuable resources from your opponent. Aggressive walk like this.
Look at the gap between the items too. Significant difference between them. Now, what worries me is that one thing DaHanG is normally able to show, he hasn't had quite as much of an opportunity to do it today, but we haven't often seen DaHanG the full absolute control today. When he's controlling both items, nosfa, run for your life, piercing sight was used.
Yeah, you could see that the last second is to track the opponent down. You can also see that slight delay. DaHanG completely threw nosfa's timing, but great resilient to dodge those rockets and deal some return damage to the Knicks.
The good thing for nosfa too is that he's able to get the heavy. So now we're talking about stack own. Ooh, after a rail like that, which was tasty. DaHanG is quite weak.
He is. And he's also doing a good job of managing time bars. You can see his piercing sight's already back up. That's 3 times he's used it already in that minute and a half.
Going in for a bit more bonus spam. The nails has been able to kind of bully DaHanG away from the heavy at least, but the important thing for DaHanG, he is the one that's in the lead, but that's opening shot and a half right there, and he's going to make chase, and he gets the rail to finish the job. And I feel like this is going to be a competitive map to finish things off. Pretty favourable for DaHanG that a rocket was dropped right where he died, so there is the opportunity to get a little bit more of that weaponry that nosfa might not have been prepared. Oh dear!
Oops.
Oopsie daisy.
Nice.
The danger is that now DaHanG is really weak.
What?
Sit ready! Let's go nosfa. 2-1.
Insane.
And he's in a better position for the Mega. One more, it seems. I'm a little bit nervous after that accidental rocket frag for DaHanG. It's the kind of thing that will definitely shake up a player, and just getting completely caught off guard there. Looks like a disaster might have struck.
A little bit, yeah. Once he's caught off guard, great use of the piercing sight, held on to it. Thought he was going to use it to track his opponent down, but didn't need to in the end, and it was a perfect play overall. And as you said before, big split between them. So nosfa has a solid run of control at this point in time. That was to pick up the time bars.
That split between the items was created so early, almost within the first rotation of them, thanks to DaHanG's early dominance, and it almost looks like, ironically, it's being used against him at the moment, because now that's what's allowing nosfa to keep this fat stack all the way through.
Just allows him to play so freely on the map, because he can always walk onto one of the items. DaHanG liberally uses his Ghost Walk as well.
Kept him alive, him safe from damage, but it did nothing to stop the control, and the fact that nosfa is still incredibly just loaded out in terms of stack here. He's in that position towards the heavy. Plenty of rockets, by the way, 21 of them. He ain't going to be running out of them anytime soon. And piercing sight, ready to rock and roll. nosfa has used this piercing sight to shut it down quite regularly.
Giving DaHanG a free Mega, that's a mistake.
You can almost assume that nosfa has put a lot of confidence and faith into his rails because he's got piercing sight. He's trying to prioritize. Oh, cheeky rocket jump. That was a cute shot and a cute angle. Oh, just has to be careful here. This rocket's being peppered down. Could spell disaster.
DaHanG has won himself the Mega positioning the rocket damage.
Do you wonder about nosfa giving up that Mega? You can only assume that he was just confident he could rail it back down and get the heavy instead. Or something similar. Jumps back down. Looks like DaHanG's ready for the... Oh, and he punishes too.
Oh, nice.
And then DaHanG gets a frag. An opportunity to bring this one back. Love that. Control the rail. DaHanG aware that the rail has been quite the miracle weapon for nosfa, so if he can shut it down early, I mean, all the better. As we go down towards heavy spawning in 30 seconds without a rail, it's going to be very hard. And he catches him. Thanks to the we can answer, but he's going in for the kill. Should be able to finish it, and he can. Machine gun's going to finish the job just in time for DaHanG to get the heavy. Now, this is the change of momentum that DaHanG has been looking for.
Yeah, the Mega as well. nosfa is there, but DaHanG has the stack.
Now, nosfa doesn't have the comfortable range to work with. He's got a rocket, but as long as DaHanG controls everything else, it's going to be hard for nosfa to return that damage. Getting a miracle rocket here and there. Well, only 3 rockets left too. It's going to be kind of hard for a challenge for this heavy. Here comes DaHanG. 100 damage. Is that going to force him away? Is DaHanG aware just how weak nosfa is?
DaHanG's also pretty weak himself, so I won't want to push too aggressively.
Ooh, nearly get the rail shot. The pillar to block the second. Ah, here we go. Now, 7 minutes in, there is no longer a divide between the two items. They are going to appear at basically the same time. And there's that pit sight detect.
An interesting use of the Ghost Walk. I'm not entirely sure what spooked him there. I think he was trying to set up a trap, but yeah, I'm not sure about that.
There's that patient game. You would be fair to assume that DaHanG, right, he's got the footing. We've seen DaHanG in control on how one-sided he can win maps by the end, but nosfa's been playing so well today.
Yeah,
and just the fact that it's just one apiece. One frag each here.
Exactly. It would be a 1 frag game at this rate, but DaHanG has caught his opponent. And that's an extremely clean kill, which give him plenty of time to chase him off the spawn. And
Disaster.
Yeah.
This is not where you...
Oh. Now can double to pick up another pressure off the spawn.
This
Exactly
really is
the same.
I've seen this one before. He pulls down, and that's where we finished. DaHanG just given himself a significant lead, and now
that right there is the perfect example of why a clean frag side play at such a high level that they can do so much with that level of space that gets created.
It's free pressure. It's unreturned. The fact that no damage is done, it's like, okay, well, this frag was essentially a free one, and now the control and the map just belongs to me.
Exactly. All the pressure and momentum, your opponent's got no weapons. You can manipulate their spawn point, then the pressure comes, and it's relentless.
1 minute warning.
That's why it's critical, even if you're dying, to do maximum damage.
Ooh, that rail's not going to hit its mark, unfortunately. You know, DaHanG, he really needs one of these to not connect. And nosfa having to make chase. Unfortunate business for nosfa, where it just feels like the chase and the runaway is too extreme, and DaHanG at the last second is going to squeeze out the ruins and taking it. But this, by all accounts, I mean, this was a hard fought map. This was a hard fought map. DaHanG has run away with this now, but this is the only time DaHanG has been dominant against nosfa all day.
And it was close for 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Until DaHanG got that clean frag, stringed a couple back to back, and this is kind of the victory lap now as nosfa's forced into being ultra aggressive. But as you rightly said, it was close all day. nosfa fully deserved map 1 of the day. Yes, DaHanG didn't play as usual self, but nosfa did what he needed to do. Game 2, likewise, relatively close, and then pretty much taken to the wire on 3, despite the scoreline.
nosfa had some real moments of greatness there too. It's absolutely just out of this world rails that he was able to land at an early stage. It's unfortunate for nosfa that he couldn't kind of inch out that last victory. I know it would have been really good for him to just kind of just to really bulk himself up, but good for that mental state. nosfa will be more aware than anyone that he's been a little bit inconsistent versus the players in the Americas. And this would so early in the stage 2, this would have been a great result for him. But DaHanG, it's how he recovers. He had a disastrous map 1 when it comes to his accuracy, and it caused him a lot of frags that just didn't go his way. He was able to just recover and pull off anyway. It says a lot about how DaHanG can stick around and how he has a lot of mental fortitude. There's a lot of stats.
Always credit I don't ever seen him come into a series and not give absolutely everything despite if things don't go his way. Even then maps 1 and 2 aren't going his way, or he's not hitting any of his shots, which he wasn't. He always finds a way to pull out a result. That's just why he's such a great player.
I mean, if you could sum it up in one word, the guy's a pro. He's very professional with how he carries himself, inside and outside of the game. He's a kind of ambassador for the game at this point. And it's just, when it comes to mental state, he's one of the most sound you can have in this kind of setting. It's hard to rattle him. And off the back of a map that was just not good for him, he recovered and got the win. So well done all round for DaHanG.
Yeah, and it's nice to see nosfa playing good. Once again, it's good with rough around the edges, but much better than we've seen in some of the weeks.
Yeah, rough around the edges is right. That's definitely a accurate term for what we saw. But nosfa, it's almost like strange to it go down to a defeat because he was hitting some crazy good shots and because he was playing just fine. This wasn't one of those weeks where you'll say, "Oh, nosfa didn't bring his A game today." He played exceptionally well. It's just in the final moments, the momentum was shifted, and that's really all there was to it. But one way to end a fun day of games. I think if there's anything we can really break down today, it's that we're all human, and we've seen a couple of times throughout the course of the show just getting frustrated at certain things and maps, and it's interesting from an outside perspective and from a viewer's perspective to see that it happens to everyone, doesn't it? And I think that's one of the things that we've seen today.
100%. It's difficult to understand unless you've played a game like this of how toxic it is mentally and how relentless it is. So when even the best come to that, it just shows how much goes into this game and how emotional it is. So it's as much as it isn't always to experience, it just shows the quality that goes into a lot of these players.
I mean, these players are passionate, and that's all there is to it. They're passionate about the game, and that's why they're here, and that's why they their best every opportunity they get. And on that note, we have got the updated schedule, so we can run anyone that may have missed today's action or got here late, just how things have gone down today, because it's been a day of good games. We've had some good stories. Starting things off with Avec versus Sparty, Genix and Zanaku, Ephelos and Dramis, Razy versus Cooler. That was a wild ride. That one, absolutely. But quite a lot of series were quite close, said a sec.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Avec versus Sparty was a really, really great series. I felt that Genix was a little bit unlucky going up against Zanaku. Could have definitely pulled out more there. Ephelos Dramis was what it was. I think Razy here once again looked as good as he has done, so he needs to move on. But you see how close every single one of those games were, apart from game one where that was a stomp. Pretty good maps coming out from all players today. The skill level once again continues to rise.
I'd agree with that statement. It's the more we go on with Quake Pro League, the more seasons and stages that we get, the better a lot of players seem to just bring their game to the table. That does change on a week-by-week basis. Players aren't able to really bring it every single week, and we did see that with a couple of players today. Yeah. I think one of the more notable ones was Cypher. Really kind of fell short and didn't quite match those expectations. But
I think that series was obviously the biggest letdown. Tiger Dewey and Venga Kilson were just unbelievably close throughout.
Venga Kilson was so good.
That was the highlight of the day. 100%. Each one of those games could have gone a completely different way. The second half of the day was crazy.
It's where the matches really started to come alive. Venga versus Kilson, I just think it never fails to disappoint. It never fails to just match our expectations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it's going to be good, and every time they play, guess what? It's good. That's
100%.
just a bunch of games all round. But I do believe that is all we have time for today. We have the updated leaderboard. That's the final thing that we're gonna get through. And sorry, jump the gun just a little bit. We almost got there. At the end. It's been a day. It's been a roller coaster of a day for us. But yeah, is there anything else you really want to add before we get to the leaderboards, LSX?
No.
And that's what there is to it. But I mean, the reality is for those that enjoyed today's games, you want to get involved. I mean, Quake Champions, it's a free-to-play game. Involved, whether it's duel, whether it's the other modes, you can jump in, get fragging, have a good time. You know, a lot of these players are kicking around some of those modes, so you get the opportunity to play head-to-head, and it's always a interesting experience. We have got the leaderboard finally to get through, so we can see what today has kind of meant. Some of the players that went head-to-head were some of the players that went head-to-head. Before we started the show, you can see just how close some of the opponents were. And I think it's really apparent for players like, Dewey and Sai, like how close they are on the leaderboard, that any map they play against each other, I mean, it matters, doesn't it?
It does. Anyone from pretty much 8th down to 13th, really. It's only, 50, 60 points between those guys now. So, I mean, with Drama's team that 3-0 or 2-1, I'm pretty sure it was a 3-0. It was 3-0. He'll jump probably above Tox. So it just shuffles around ever so quickly. nosfa getting some points will push him up a little bit. Alvin Sparty will be separate a bit more. It's a bit of a bloodbath from 10th down to 13th, 14th. Faced with the 3-0, so he'll be very happy with that, moving up the leaderboard as well. But the top is obviously relatively consolidated now. On that note, let's have a look. Let's check out the old updated leaderboard. So, as you quite rightly mentioned, it has base up considerably. He's actually surpassed Cooler at this step. So apparently, huge, yeah.
It's massive for him, absolutely massive. And
Look at the
off
frags.
how well he played today, it's just out of world how well he.
Defensive and everything base. He's got, if this is correct, he's got 700 more frags, Cooler.
Bloody hell. It's something, isn't it?
He's got more frags than Rafa.
I mean, that didn't strike me that much of early base. You know what I mean? It's just the more we start to see base play the way he likes to play, like he gets some one-sided maps these days.
Mental. He's got that many frags.
Been quite the shift of power after today's results.
He's got 2,700 frags. Oh, God.
I mean, Razy's frag count doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
because when Razy plays, he plays to destroy, to stop you from having fun.
Yeah.
That's why he fronts the gauntlet every step of the way. But as you can see, today gave us some interesting results, for a lack of a better term. But I do believe now is the time where I get to say, that is all we have time for. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone that did. Just keep playing Quake. Keep enjoying Quake. It's easy to jump into games these days. You got all the modes, free-for-alls, see how you do. And then if you ever want to step up and dive into the world of 1v1, it's always there for you. And Pro League exists to showcase the very best players on the planet. So give a huge thank you to everyone that watched. Give a huge thanks to you for joining me today. It's always a good time chatting with you. And I want to give a final shout out to the whole production behind the podcasts happen in general. Thanks very much for your efforts. That's always appreciated. This has been week number 2, stage 4 of the Quake Pro League. My name has been Ketchup, joined by ZSX. Much love and peace out.